The way you present yourself to the world says a lot before you even open your mouth. It's not about vanity, it's about presence. People who take care of their appearance create a silent field of respect around them. They show, without words, that they have discipline, self-love, and intention. The truth is, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and that impression opens or closes doors before you even notice. Taking care of your appearance is an investment that pays off every single day, in the way you see yourself, the way you act, and most importantly, in how others respond to you. It's not about fitting a standard, it's about showing care. Taking care of your hair, your posture, your scent, your gaze, the way you move through a space, all of it communicates silent power. Appearance isn't everything, but it is the first step. And when you understand that, you realize how small external changes can unlock deep internal transformations. If this topic already struck a chord with you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick with me, because what's coming next might just change the way you show up in the world. First topic. Appearance is the silent reflection of your inner identity. The first thing that happens when you decide to take care of your appearance isn't external, it's internal. Because before you change what you see in the mirror, you change how you see yourself on the inside. Appearance is the visible projection of your identity, and every time you get ready with intention, you're sending yourself a message. I care about me. I'll never forget a time when I felt completely disconnected from my own image. I would wake up, throw on any clothes, tie my hair up, however, and go through the day as if I were invisible. The problem? That's exactly what I became. Invisible. Not because others couldn't see me, but because I had stopped seeing myself. And when you stop seeing yourself, you stop valuing yourself. One day I decided to try a simple experiment. I did my hair, picked out a nice outfit, and wore a perfume I loved, even though there was no special reason to. The impact was instant. My posture changed, my gaze changed, my energy changed. Not because the clothes were different, but because I was treating myself like someone worth caring for. Appearance doesn't create self-esteem. It activates the self-esteem that's already within you. Comment: I take care of my presence. This phrase reminds you that your appearance is the first gesture of respect you give yourself every day. Second topic: posture. The subtle shift that changes how the world reads you. Most people think appearance is just clothes, hair, and makeup. But before all that, there's something that speaks even louder: posture. The way you take up space instantly reveals what you believe about yourself. Slouched shoulders, lowered eyes, short steps. All of it tells the world, I don't expect much from myself. But when your posture changes, even before your mindset does, something powerful happens. I remember a time when I felt small, almost faded. And it wasn't just emotional. My body showed it clearly. I walked hunched over, spoke softly, avoided eye contact. Until one day, a woman I deeply admired said to me, "You walk like you're apologizing for existing." That hit me like a lightning bolt. Not because it was offensive, but because it was true. So I started an experiment. Every day, for 1 minute, I'd stand in front of the mirror and adjust my posture. Aligned shoulders, open chest, chin slightly raised, steady breathing. At first, it felt strange, like I was pretending to be someone else. But over time, that posture started to feel natural. And with it came an internal shift. I began to feel more confident, more grounded, more capable. Posture isn't just physical, it's symbolic. It's the silent way you tell the world, and yourself, who you choose to be. Comment: I stand tall with confidence. This phrase reinforces that your body can always be the first step toward transformation. Third topic: attention to detail creates the feeling of there's something different about her. There's something special about those women who always seem effortlessly polished. Not because they wear expensive brands, but because there's intention in the details. It's not the dress, the lipstick, or the accessories. It's the quiet sum of small, deliberate choices that makes you think, she's got something different. And that something is discipline. It's presence. It's self-respect. I realized this while observing a woman on the subway. She wasn't dressed extravagantly. In fact, she was quite simple. But everything about her was in harmony. Clean, neatly styled hair, moisturized skin, subtle nails, a soft fragrance, basic but flawless clothes. Nothing screamed for attention, yet everything spoke. I saw her for just a few minutes, but that moment was enough for me to understand. Her secret was in the details no one notices, but everyone feels. Then it hit me. My own details were always being left for later. I'd only do my hair if I had time. My nails, only when I remembered. My clothes, chosen purely for comfort, not for the image they projected. Slowly, I began to see how these little oversights were connected to how much I valued myself on the inside. When I started paying attention to the details, something shifted immediately. It wasn't about being perfect, it was about being intentional. Every small act of care became a reminder of self-love, and that shift began to change how I saw myself, and how the world saw me. There's one thing almost no one talks about when it comes to self-care and appearance. It's impossible to sustain a stronger, more confident version of yourself when deep down, you're constantly stressed about money. That quiet insecurity weighs on your shoulders, even when you're trying to evolve. It's that nagging guilt when you buy something, that fear when you think about the future, that frustration of always feeling like you're starting over. It's like you're taking care of the surface, but underneath there's still a tension holding you back from feeling safe, relaxed, and fully stepping into the woman you want to be. I know what that feels like. Financial anxiety drains your energy, damages your self-esteem, and makes you feel small, even when you're doing your best to grow. That's exactly why I created the Wealth Code, a guide designed to transform your relationship with money in a light, simple, and deeply feminine way. It helps you build financial security without fear, confusion, or guilt. It teaches you how to make clear decisions, feel in control of your life, and create a true sense of freedom, the kind of freedom that brings peace, not stress. If you feel ready to stop carrying that invisible weight and start a new phase of your life with emotional and financial stability, the link is in the first pinned comment. Fourth topic. Appearance isn't vanity. It's silent communication of value. There's a huge misconception that keeps many women stuck in mediocrity. The belief that caring about appearance is superficial. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Appearance is a language, and the world responds to the way you communicate your value before you even say a word. It's not about looking pretty for others. It's about showing, without explanation, that you respect yourself. I realized this the day I went to an important meeting with a highly influential woman. She wasn't wearing anything flashy, expensive, or over the top, but her presence was impossible to ignore. Everything about her seemed to say, "I value myself." And in that moment, I understood something I was never taught. Taking care of your appearance isn't about impressing others. It's about affirming who you are. And once you internalize that, you realize how your appearance becomes a natural extension of your identity. You don't need heavy makeup, designer clothes, or styles that don't feel like you. You need intention, care, coherence between who you are and how you present yourself to the world. Your appearance is the business card that comes before your essence, and when it's aligned with the woman you want to become, life starts opening doors that once felt closed. People begin to treat you differently because you started treating yourself differently. The world hears what you communicate in silence. Comment, "My presence speaks for me." This phrase reinforces the truth that your appearance is an expression of respect, not vanity. Fifth topic. When you change your appearance, you change the standard of what you accept. There's a silent phenomenon that happens when you start taking care of yourself. Your standards rise automatically, not just in how you look, but in your relationships, conversations, environments, and behaviors. Because when you invest time, care, and intention in yourself, you stop accepting anything that doesn't match that new level of self-respect. I noticed this when I started doing small self-care rituals. Nothing extravagant. Calmly moisturizing my skin, choosing clothes that represented me, keeping my nails done, treating my hair with love. As the days went by, I realized it wasn't just my image that was changing. It was my internal filter. People who spoke to me carelessly began to bother me. Situations I used to accept out of habit started to feel incompatible with the woman I was becoming. And it wasn't a conscious decision. It was natural, because the way you treat yourself defines how you allow the world to treat you. A well-cared-for appearance is a silent declaration of higher standards. It says, "I respect myself too much to accept less than I deserve." External change creates a new internal point of reference. And when that happens, you stop begging for space and start only occupying the ones aligned with your evolution. Comment. My standards reflect my self-care. This phrase marks the transition between who you were and who you've decided to become. Sixth topic. Aesthetic discipline creates the version of you your mind doesn't believe exists yet. The biggest change that happens when you start caring for your appearance isn't in the mirror. It's in your mind. Because aesthetic discipline requires consistency, and consistency is the muscle that builds self-respect. When you wake up early to get ready, even when you don't feel like it, when you choose an outfit that represents who you want to be, not who you've been, when you keep up with basic self-care even on hard days, You're training your mind to understand that this new version isn't just a plan, it's a reality in progress. I learned this during a time when my self-esteem was shattered. I'd look at myself and dislike what I saw, yet I did nothing to change it. Until one day, I decided to create a simple care routine. Clean skin, styled hair, organized outfit. At first, it felt like too much effort for too little result, but something shifted with time. I started believing in myself again. Aesthetic discipline creates that quiet effect. It brings you closer to your new identity before your mind even believes in it. It's like you're telling your brain every day, "This is how I treat myself now." And little by little, it believes. And once it believes, it leads you to places your old self could never reach. When you take care of yourself consistently, not out of vanity, but out of respect, you send the world a clear message. I'm growing, and my life will grow with me. Comment: my discipline reveals my new version. This phrase reinforces the idea that your appearance is the habit sustaining your quiet evolution. 7th topic. Your appearance shapes the opportunities you see, and the ones that see you. There's a quiet truth almost no one admits. The world reacts to the image you project. Not cruelly, but instinctively. People trust more, listen more, and open up more when they sense you take care of yourself. It's not about looks, it's about credibility. When you care about your appearance, you become someone who looks ready. And opportunities gravitate toward those who look ready. I realized this when I started saying yes to myself. I took care of my skin, styled my hair with intention, chose clothes that told the story I wanted to live. And something interesting happened. Opportunities started to show up. Connections that never noticed me before began to reach out. Looks of respect started to appear. And most importantly, I began to see paths that once felt too far out of reach. Appearance doesn't create opportunities. It unlocks the ones that were already there, but that you didn't feel worthy enough to notice. When you show up as a woman who respects herself, you change the internal filter that defines what's possible for you. And what once felt too big begins to feel accessible. The truth is simple. When you elevate yourself on the outside, your mind rises on the inside, and the world just follows that movement. Comment: I attract what I'm ready to receive. This phrase symbolizes the moment when your appearance becomes a bridge to a bigger life. 8th topic. The way you dress changes the energy you bring into the world. Have you ever noticed how a simple outfit change completely shifts your energy? It's no coincidence. It's behavioral psychology. The way you dress sends signals not only to others, but to yourself. Every piece you choose activates a version of you. Sloppy clothes activate neglect. Aligned clothes activate presence. Clothes that represent you activate identity. And when your identity is activated, your energy follows. I learned this during a time when everything felt heavy. I'd wake up feeling low, and out of habit, I'd throw on anything. It was as if my body carried the same weight as my mind. Until one day, I decided to do something different. I picked an outfit I would wear if I were already living the life I dreamed of. No special occasion, no big event, just intention. And it was surprising. My mood shifted, my posture shifted, my productivity shifted. And it wasn't the clothes, it was how I felt in them. I realized that when you choose to dress like the woman you want to become, you start acting like her. The brain follows the body. That's why taking care of how you dress isn't about looking stylish. It's about connecting with a future version of yourself that already exists inside you and bringing that energy into the present. It's about dressing for the life you want, not for the exhaustion you feel. Comment: I dress like the woman I'm becoming. This phrase seals the intention behind every aesthetic choice, to activate your new energy. 9th topic. How you care for yourself teaches the world how to treat you. The way you take care of yourself sets a silent standard. It tells others, without words, what the minimum level of respect you accept is. When you show up in the world with intention, care, and presence, people naturally adjust their behavior. Not because you demand it, but because you inspire it. The world treats you the way you treat yourself. I remember a situation that deeply shaped my understanding of this. I was at an event and watched 2 women arrive separately. The first came in rushed, wearing wrinkled clothes, hunched posture, and a tired expression. The second arrived minutes later, simple, elegant, polished. Nothing about her was extravagant, just thoughtful. The whole room reacted differently. People made space, greeted her with respect, exchanged admiring glances. And that's when I realized, when you present yourself with care, you invite respect. When you show up without intention, you invite disregard. It's not about being pretty or having status. It's about what your presence communicates before you say a single word. If you want to be treated with kindness, respect, admiration, and recognition, You must first treat yourself that way. Appearance is the first and quietest gesture of the education you give the world about how you wish to be seen. Comment: I teach the world to respect me. This phrase seals your commitment to a new way of existing, strong, intentional, and self-aware. 10th topic. Appearance is the fastest way to activate your next version. Every deep transformation takes time. But there's one thing that changes immediately: how you present yourself. Appearance is the only element of your life that can be altered in minutes and still trigger a huge emotional shift. When you adjust your image, you instantly change how you feel, think, and act. That's why taking care of your appearance is the quietest and fastest way to activate your next version. I realized this during a difficult phase. My emotions were a mess. My routine was chaotic. My thoughts unstable. I didn't have the energy for major changes. But one day, I decided to do what I could. I washed my hair, moisturized my skin, organized my clothes, chose an outfit that made me feel good. It was simple, but that day I felt something reignite inside me. It wasn't full strength, it was a spark. The first light after a long time. Appearance works like a mental switch. When you get ready, your brain understands we're stepping into a new energy, and that energy opens the door to better choices, better interactions, better behavior. Appearance is the portal. Inner transformation is the path. Taking care of your outer self won't solve everything, but it gives you the strength to solve it. Comment: my next version begins today. This phrase represents the beginning of the woman you're choosing to become. Taking care of your appearance isn't superficial. It's an act of respect, awareness, and intention. It's a silent declaration to the world that you value yourself. Every detail, every gesture, every aesthetic choice builds a new identity. A stronger, more confident identity aligned with the life you want to live. When you understand that your appearance is communication, discipline, and presence, you realize that success doesn't begin when others applaud you. It begins when you look in the mirror and finally see someone who's honoring her own story. If this video resonated with you, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment: I care for my appearance with intention. And because your success begins in silence, in the daily care only you can see,